Oh my god, these trailers will just not stop coming. As I was finishing the Minecraft and How to Train Your Dragon video, out of nowhere, DreamWorks drops the Bad Guys 2 trailer, and Pixar later in the day also drops their real teaser for Elio. And honestly, this has been a crazy week for trailers. This is the most I think I've ever had to talk about on the channel, so much that I had to do a dubber feature because I just dropped a video yesterday and now dropping this today. So it's a lot. So today we're going to be talking about the Bad Guys 2 and the Elio teaser and how I feel about everything. Now, regarding the Bad Guys 2, there were some leaks about it. Some people were seeing the trailer in their theaters, but it wasn't anything like phenomenal. It was not, what I mean by phenomenal is that it was very small clips. It wasn't anything like, the whole trailer wasn't leaked. So I really didn't know what the movie was going to be looking like, except for that one clip of Snake and his quotation mark girlfriend. That's gonna haunt the internet until the movie comes out. Once the trailer actually came out, you know what? For this movie to be apparently the one DreamWorks movie now going forward that is not technically in-house, since The Wild Robot was the last in-house DreamWorks film, I don't really notice any differences. If this is being worked on by another internal studio, yes, DreamWorks is still working on it, but if they're outsourcing this movie, I really don't see any differences. If anything, it looks better. The animation looks really good. I can tell the action sequences are gonna hit even harder than the first one, and I can tell that since they already have source material from the books, it won't feel that forced. So the trailer starts off with how originally the bad guys got their first car. Apparently it looked like it was in India. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right, I'm not sure. And you cut back to 5 years later, and Wolf is now actually deciding to work at the bank instead of robbing the bank. Kind of interesting. It was a funny clip of apparently that was the bank that Wolf has robbed quite a few times and actually wanted to work there. So this is, the story of the bad guys turning good, but then are recruited by the bad girls. It's nothing really insane. And these character designs I actually really like. Most designs from the book carried over, had a lot of changes, but the changes that they did bring over to this movie were really good. The designs were from the first movie were already good, but the second movie I was really anticipating it. And they really pulled it off. I really do like the designs. And as for the characters, we don't really know much about them. All we know is that they've been keying their eyes on the bad guys. Apparently they admire them. They need them for some sort of mission, and the bad guys reluctantly agree to do one last mission as the bad guys, which, this isn't going to be the last mission. If this movie does nearly as well or better, yeah, we're getting more of these. And I'd say that, that's a pretty decent plot for a sequel. I know some people are like, yeah, I've seen this before. Sometimes yes, but I feel like with the bad guys, this is a story that doesn't feel like it would be a drag or it's just a boring idea. I see this kind of working, and the surprising fact is we only got literally 2 seconds of Diane in the entire trailer. I know, it's a travesty the internet only got 2 seconds. They're gonna riot if she's barely in this movie. That would actually be really funny. But so far, I actually am kind of liking it. They didn't show too much, thankfully. But I'm kind of digging this trailer. Although, there are certain instances, like I brought up the end of the trailer, that, yeah, that's gonna haunt people for a while. But overall, I give it like an 8 out of 10, if I had to rate the trailer. As for Elio, though, that just dropped out of nowhere. I guess everyone's dropping their trailers simply because Wicked and Gladiator are out right now. And they're very weird, very two different audiences they're bringing up trailers for, which is really interesting. Elio, actually, we got a little more insight to what the movie was actually going for. We had the plot synopsis, but we actually got to see that more at the forefront. In the beginning of the trailer, we see that Elio is kind of a loner. He really only focuses on space. He wants to reach the aliens by sending out messages. His mother works for the military, but always kind of puts that down, and until he finally does get the calling, and he goes up to space. Now, I will say, the animation is still really, really good. They really brought this whole space world to life. I know a lot of people are being turned off by this movie, and this is like the tready water you're going into. Because one, this is an original animated Pixar film. And the last time this happened, in the beginning, it went really bad. And that was with Elemental. Thankfully, the word of mouth and overseas really helped that movie. It really saved that movie's ass. Because if that movie really didn't have that, it might have been a flop. Probably on the same caliber as Lightyear, but thankfully that didn't happen. But with this movie, it's riding off of the back of Inside Out 2, which is now the highest grossing animated film of all time. Such a weird sentence to say. It's such a random movie for that to be the highest grossing animated movie. But still, that's a pretty big caliber to ride off of. But I'd say the movie will probably do okay. Like, I've never seen a Pixar movie actually be a disaster, besides Lightyear, of course. It was just a weird month for that movie. I don't know what happened. But overall, this movie doesn't look like it's going to be that bad, honestly. I'm pretty sure this movie is slated for another June release, so we just have to see what else is releasing. But I'm not too worried about this film. I just see it doing okay. And as for DreamWorks, it's going to be a very wild year next year. I'm surprised they went as far as to dropping this trailer this early. It's either one, they have really good faith in this movie and want to get the news out there now that this movie's being made, because DreamWorks tends to make a mistake a lot of the times. They may drop the trailer really, really close to when the movie was actually going to release. They would drop trailers in March and a movie would be releasing in June. They'd be releasing a trailer in December. And, well, there was Kung Fu Panda 4, the trailer came out in December, but that's Kung Fu Panda 4, that's a different story. But with The Bad Guys 2, you want to get that out there that this movie's coming out, because there's a lot of summer blockbusters that are going to be coming out in 2025, and this is one of the first ones that actually got a trailer, which is wild. Not even Superman or Jurassic World even got even a teaser. So it's good that DreamWorks put their foot down first. And DreamWorks is just gonna have a wild year, period, because mostly all their films are adaptations. You have the Dogman movie in January, which is coming up very close. It's actually insane that we're getting this close to the Dogman movie, which is gonna make buckets. I can already tell. The hype building up with this movie is insane. I'm seeing a lot more people talk about this, not just online, but just where I'm from and from other people, that are people are actually talking about this movie. We also know that, yes, they are focusing on a lot of book adaptations going forward with DreamWorks, and I can tell that's gonna spawn a bunch of new things. Probably a Dogman sequel, hopefully a Captain Underpants sequel. And with The Bad Guys 2, I see that making so much more money now. It's an established franchise now, in theaters at least, and with its stellar animation and the positive response it's had, I see it doing really well. It's in a pretty good spot where the competition isn't too massive. Yes, you're gonna have that summer blockbuster season, but the fact that DreamWorks trusts this movie to do that well in that climate really shows how much faith they have in The Bad Guys, which is, really good to see. Because normally they're used to their September releases or holiday releases, but they're sticking to a summer release, and I respect that. Because sometimes putting your movie in September isn't the greatest idea. We kind of saw that with Transformers 1, unfortunately. But I'm really excited for The Bad Guys 2. I know we're not getting another trailer for a while, because it comes out in August, which is a very long time from now. Don't expect another trailer probably until the spring. But those are my thoughts on The Bad Guys 2, and also my thoughts on Elio. I think these two trailers are probably one of the best out of the bunch that came out this whole week with Minecraft, How to Train Your Dragon, Wallace and Gromit. There was so much, but I think these two were some of the best out of the bunch. Let me know what you think down below of these movies. And I can rest, but not for long, because Moana 2 comes out in 2 days. So I'll catch you guys in the next video.